and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Greg, what's up, man?
What's up, Dave? How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. Doing well.
Did you have a nice vacation?
Yeah, it's nice to be away for a little while and be back again.
Yeah. Look, Memorial Day weekend. We always take off on the holidays. But that was special because that was my birthday weekend, and we had some big parties and big plans and things like that. And then the following week, was kind of our annual vacation that we do at the beginning of summer. And look, it came true because now on the East Coast everything is fully open. The city of Philadelphia has just opened the doors and opened the floodgates.
Yep. So, what's up, Braden? Good to see you too, buddy.
Good to see you, Braden. Welcome. So yeah, they opened.
Hey, Braden was texting me on Instagram saying, "Where are you guys at, man? I need y'all to get back."
Braden, Vince, Andrew, our regulars were hitting me to say, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, especially Vince. Vince personally called me, "Hey, you guys doing the podcast?" I'm like, "Oh, what do you a reminder?"
Right. Speaking of Andrew, look at there. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man.
Andrew, good to see you, my buddy. But yeah, things are back. They rang the bell June 11th, and once they rang the bell, I guess it's an East Coast thing or a Northeast thing. Everybody procrastinated till the last minute. I guess they didn't believe that things were going to open the way they did, and I just got a massive amount of calls. Calls, and really all about the nightlife and the bands and the tech work and things like that. So I secured myself for the next year at least weekend work. Great. If I don't have anything personally, I can just work downtown and do my thing and have a great time and be part of a really cool vibe. So
that's awesome. Yeah. I think I was talking to you earlier today and mentioned that I would talk to some of my buddies that are up in the Northeast where you guys are. And I think that when those floodgates opened up, man, everybody was just ready to roll. You know what I mean? Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
The buddy Luke, man, who's in Rhode Island, he said he's working 15 days straight or 17 days straight, just, going crazy, which is awesome. Which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Braden says our business is getting blown up, bookings and events. There you go.
Yeah. And the more diverse, man, that's what we want to hear. The more diverse you are. Yeah. And look, even in mobile DJing, I'm working with the city of Philadelphia because they're having all these different spots and all the different departments of recreations. We're supplying DJs all throughout the city and all of these different spots, during the week. And that's just like a godsend. And I'm trying to get everybody, assimilated to that. All the different, the lounges are open up and we got duos and trios coming in and they need, the techs and the audio techs for that. The big clubs are opening up and, which is the opposite of social distancing,
Right.
The place I work at, Vesper, first night they opened up, it was A, sold out, and B, to capacity, and C, they even went overtime, and that's unheard of.
Yep.
That's unheard of. So,
well, I think people are ready. You know what I mean? People are those that want to be vaccinated are vaccinated. Those that, I think everybody knows the deal at this point as far as responsibilities go, and I think people are ready to get back and get back together, man. Did you see that? You see that story about the hockey game? In I think it was in New York. Bought the Boston team, and I think it was a New York team. I don't know. Somebody can correct me in the comments if they want to. But anyways, the girl that was singing the national anthem. About one or two lines into it, she really realized that the whole audience was singing it. And this is like a goosebumps moment, right? So she just took the microphone away and just let the audience carry on with it. It was awesome. If you're, if you're even remotely a patriotic person, which clearly I am, it will bring tears to your eyes and goosebumps to your body. It was just an amazing sight to see, especially when, so many people have not been able to be together like that in so long.
That's cool. No, that's really cool. Hey, speaking of that, you displaying your flag today, Mr. Patriotic person?
Yeah,
Today's Flag Day. Did you know this?
That's right. Yeah, it is.
All right. Yeah. No, I actually I heard it on the radio this morning. I was doing a lot of driving around the city. I was really impressed because there's a lot of people, displaying their flags today on Flag Day. So.
Yeah. No, it's good to see, man. It's good to see a resemblance of normalcy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, and look, the good news is Gabe's getting back to work. So
yes, and hopefully he'll be here tonight. Hopefully he'll be here on time. I know he checked in with us earlier from his car and said he'd be home soon. So we might get lucky and have him on the show even with us.
Right.
If not, no, he's right down there. We can just, you know what? He's like right under me here. So like,
rub his head a little bit.
Do that.
Rub his head like
it's him. Yeah.
Is it like a booty? You rub the top of Gabe's head. I'm rubbing.
I know, and then all of a sudden he appears on the show.
Anything else going on with you down there in Florida, there, buddy?
We're staying busy. I'm going to Chicago a week from today to go to the Marquee show, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay. All right. Cool. Why don't you explain to those that don't know what the Marquee show? Explain to them what it is.
Yeah, it's how would I describe it? Kind of like maybe a boutique DJ show. There's a lot of education there. There's a good handful. I just saw the other day all of the different vendors that are going to be there. And so that's going to be pretty exciting. There's a new game show gear vendor that's going to be there that should be really, really interesting. And so it's just gonna be fun. Like what I love most about it is there's going to definitely be people there that I haven't seen in a very, very long time, regardless of COVID, whether COVID even was a thing or not. Okay. There's going to be some people there that I know that are going to be there that I haven't seen in a very long time. And super excited to, super excited to connect with them and just kind of get back around some more like-minded people. I feel like I haven't been, other than the podcast stuff, I don't feel like I've really been around my people in a while. So it's going to be nice to do that.
All right. That's cool, man. I'm glad you could get out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the expo. I spoke to our guy there, DJ Times. So he's going to release it out in the press releases soon. So, if you've ever been to the expo or you're signed up at DJ Times, or even on their website, they'll release it under their press releases, but you'll see it once we set something. So I kind of pulled Soho in from the Senate DJs, and because this is going to be a big undertaking, and it's literally teaching those that, right out of the box, how to DJ, what things to get, some ideas, because there's always people there that want to be, just like us, the wedding DJ hero. No.
coming to your Samsung device real soon.
Sponsored by Wedding DJ Hero. But no, they want to play with their controllers. They want to play their newest music, and they just really want to mix. And it's funny. I did a thing with the school in the past 8 years, and I looked at everything that people came in and the questions that I asked. And the one big question is, what do you want to learn? What do you want to do? 89% wanted to learn how to mix and scratch.
Yeah.
Out of that, probably, the other 9, there was another 9% there that wanted to learn the whole parties, weddings, what to do right out of, right out of the box. But look, everybody was basically, probably half of them were right out of the box, where other people were DJs just looking to hone their skills. But it was amazing, what to see out there and what they were learning. So I get it at this, at the expo, people are going to want to learn, the basics, my controller, my equipment hookup, and how not to sound like a fool the first time they play. Right. That's really it. I mean, you hook up the microphone, squeal,
always
know the deal.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So. I was thinking about that a lot over that. Hey, look, Gabe just got here. Let me get Gabe in here with us.
Good. All right.
Gabe, what's up, buddy?
Hey guys, how you doing?
How are you, buddy? You were busy B too, huh? busy.
Hell yeah. Hey Dave, how you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good. Hold on, let me rub your head for good luck. There we go.
It's good to get the band back together, if you will. You know what
man.
I mean? Absolutely glad to have you. No, I was just saying, like over the weekend, I was just thinking about some certain things that happen at my events and how, it's a really interesting thing to want to continue to get better at what we do and get better at the relationships with other wedding professionals or just event professionals that are there, and understanding how. So here, take a perfect situation. You have a toast that's going on, and you have people that are not, we'll say, trained on how to use a mic, and so you have, and of course, they for aesthetics, they want to be set up. They want to set them up right in front of your speaker system, right?
Oh, not good.
Right, and so in the moment, it's a hard conversation to have about, why. It's a hard conversation to have about why not to do that, right? But it's something that I think, over time is a good conversation, because it is possible to have the aesthetic still look good, have the photos and videos still look good, but not put the entertainer, and it may not even be a DJ, it could be anybody, just not put the sound person in a situation where there could be feedback problems. There could be issues that they just really can't control in the moment, more so because you have, again, people that are using microphones that are, right, shoving them down their throat or waving them around the room or talking out of their stomach and all these different crazy things that people do,
Right. The microphone's about 3 feet away from their, they extend their hand, and you got to turn that up. The more you turn that up, the more problems you're going to have with the squealing back, regardless of how much treble you take out of it, because that's always, key one. For those that don't know, learning moment here, you get microphone feedback that's really high. Turn down your trebles, simple as that. That'll stop that. But you're absolutely right. No, here, stand in front of the speakers. Then I have to bend these speakers away from where the microphone is, because they'll do it to me in a second, and last minute thing. So I redirect the speakers away from the microphone, and down goes that treble. That's why I don't recommend putting my microphone into any type of mixer or controller that doesn't have separate bass and treble controls for your microphone.
I have these Sennheiser wireless mics. They're decent, but when you give them to a guest to make an announcement, and they're in between the speakers, and you hear that feedback, it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think the number one thing that came out of it for me was, this is an opportunity, number one, for an educational conversation at a later, different time, but also a reminder that a simple solution is to get with the other key professionals and say, hey, where are you thinking about wanting to put folks for the toast and announcements and things like that? And let's make sure that, number one, we want it to look good for you, but we also want to make sure it sounds good for everybody. And clearly, like, right in front of the speaker system is not the right place to do it. So where else could we do it?
So gaff tape it off, exit out so people don't see it.
Gaff tape.
Exactly.
All right.
Yep.
So I just put some points in the private chat there. You want to bring on our guest, because I know
let's do it.
We got that important meeting we got to get to, buddy. And
we got a lot to talk about, and we want to make sure that we give him his due time. So
look, he seems like a really cool guy, and I want to get to know a little bit more about him. So really quick, let me introduce him. All right, buddies,
let's go.
Randy Bongo is a musical curator who combines playing vinyl records and accompanies them with live bongos. How cool is that? He hosts a weekly 3-hour live mix called The Weekend Starts Here. You can get more information by going to RandyBongo.com. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Randy Bongo.
Randy, how are you, man?
Hey, guys. How are you?
What's up, Andy?
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
I have to ask you right off the bat, the elephant in the room. Who's the girlfriend behind you?
You noticed. That is the Janet Jackson puppet from the Eminem Ass Like That video.
Really?
Yep. I did that video, and I tried to get more of them, but obviously, everyone had gloms on everything, and we did a whole, I don't know if you remember it, but we did a whole Crank Yank's alternative universe. And I ended up doing a whole special with, I think it was MTV or VH1. We did like Making of the Ass, where like we had Little M and had the Crank Yankers, did like a behind the scenes, but we used the puppet. And so I got and it's the Janet Jackson from the Super Bowl. I don't know if you can see the thing. That was when the year that Super Bowl happened, where Boob came out. And
that's great.
yeah,
that was the wardrobe malfunction. Cool.
It's a wardrobe malfunction. That was what it was. Yes, yeah.
All right, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, look. Oh, you got a lot of cool trinkets up above your records too.
Yeah. Like
I forget. I had a lot of them. The artists. I forget. There was a special guy who made them, and they used to have them at Tower Records back in the day. And when the Tower Records went out,
I missed Tower Records.
I went out and I bought a lot. I think was it McClellan's, or I forget the guy's last name, but they're really cool collector's pieces, and I had a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I actually
I just went full screen so I could look and see. I think I see Jimi Hendrix up there.
Yeah.
I think I see the Beatles up there.
Lots of Beatles.
Beatles. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm trying. Is that the guy from the Ramones up on the top right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's Sid Vicious up here. Wait, right there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Joey Ramone. My son gave me a Joey Ramone candle right there. Like, you know, they have like saint, like this patron saint or whatever. There's a Joey Ramone.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
As a patron saint.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll take it. I'm like, I have a kid and he's 30, but his like view of like the Ramones is like that they were like a pop band that was on the radio. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't the case. Like they never got radio airplay. It was like it was this underground punk band that was cool, but they weren't, they weren't a pop band, you know. They never played arenas. They never played, your local arena.
Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, let's jump right into it. I want to know, curation, the next step forward. I want you to explain that to me and explain that to our listeners.
Okay. I mean, I feel like we've gone through the decade of influencers, right? And is like it or hate it, it is a reality, and it's become a thing, and people make livings by it, and brands deal with it as much as they can, and people are, for better or for worse, the influencers of the decade, and they're not going away. I just think as we get into the 20s and as things start to get more, especially now that we've had this crazy pandemic, I heard you guys talking, like people are like, but they'll go to anything, right? They'll go to the fucking, I don't know if I can say that. They'll go to watch paint dry, like just so they can be with people again. They'll do anything. So I think you're going to start to see like real, certainly for what we're doing, in the DJ thing, like the real curation of it all, and the real like the people not just getting your playlist from Spotify or Apple or YouTube, but people who make cool playlists and are really something that are people want to follow and want to use that as a beacon of like, oh, I follow this DJ or I follow this person because they curate these really great lists, and it's something that I like, So it is getting a little into the niche, and it's not, I had a friend who's he works at he used to work at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so he's actually a curator, for museums, and he got really upset with me when I was talking about it. I'm like, you know what? As much as you are good at what you do, there's going to be people who don't have degrees that are good at curation. Yeah. Certainly for music, So
all right, I get it. All
that's
right,
my
cool.
belief. And I think you guys know, as DJs, like I love DJing parties and doing things, and people are like, you're the best DJ. And I think one of the reasons people love a good DJ is because you can read the room and play you can tell what people want to hear. I don't play stuff that I want to hear. I play stuff that people want to hear, you know?
Good.
So that's really, to me,
that's a great formula, Randy, because I think you're right. If you think about all of everybody on here on the show, everybody that's watching has probably been told that exact same thing. You're the greatest DJ. You're a great DJ. And I really believe what you just said is so on point as to why that comment is being made. And it's because they were able to accommodate that particular group of people and their interests in what worked for them at that point in time. And you could put that exact same playlist in a completely different group and get a completely different response. And if you weren't able and trained and skilled enough to notice that and make adjustments, then you may not get the same response. So I'm really glad you said that, actually.
I think I don't love requests, but when you're playing and somebody I remember I was at this one party and I was trying to get into the 80s, like how do I get into the 80s from where I was? And this girl came up and she's like, play Burning Down the House. And I was like, you know what? That is exactly the way I'm going to get into the 80s. And I knew she was cute. She wanted to hear it. I'm like, yeah, I can play Talking Heads, and then I'm in the, and then boom, voila, you're in the 80s, right? You know?
Right.
So it's like, you know,
and the beauty of what we do is you can always blame it on her. You can be like, oh well, this girl over here asked for it. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm the DJ.
I take responsibility for what I play.
You're exceeding one of your customers' expectations right there, and she's giving you a reason to change your genre.
Exactly.
And you call her out on it. All right, Kathy, this one goes out to you.
Exactly.
She's screaming and yelling and bringing her girlfriends out. Right. Yeah. I mean, she's the influencer for your dance floor right there because just played her song. Oh, yeah.
Yep. And that's what I always tell people, like, you know, whenever I play a party, even a house party, like my goal is to get the girls on the dance floor or people in general on the dance floor, because if people are dancing, then like then the party's at least going and everything else can happen. If everyone's standing around, then the party's not going to happen. You know, like it's not, no matter what, the party's not happening. So it's really about just getting people on the dance floor for me.
Right.
You know?
Agreed.
You bring the women, the guys will then follow.
100%. That's it. You know?
Yeah.
And girls, the thing is, like, girls will dance with girls. They don't really care. It's not a sexual thing, right? They just want to dance and have a good time.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And guys are like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, there's 15 girls dancing by themselves. Go dance, you know? Like,
we're gonna look
you
funny.
might not like disco, but go dance. Like,
if I were to go up to Dave or Gabe and we're at a club and I start dancing next to them, they're gonna push me away.
I guess it just depends on how close you get.
I'm just saying, like, guys that even, I'm not saying that guys don't, but in general, guys, you know, if it's a hip hop thing, a bunch of guys will get together and be rapping the song and doing that thing, but. If you're playing certainly older disco stuff, like girls will get on the dance floor and do the hustle or do a move or do a thing, you know, and put it on their TikTok account and, you know, get going, you know.
I got you.
Speaking of hip hop, Randy, and again, obviously our viewers as well, tell us a little bit about the work you've done in the past. I know you've done some work with hip hop artists, rock artists, pop, all kinds of artists. Tell us a little bit about
my
that.
former life
earlier.
Yep, I did do work with Eminem. I work with 50 Cent. I work with The Game. I ran the music video department at Interscope Geffen A&M Records from 2000 to 2008. So kind of the heyday of the music business when it was, you know, back when it was there's still a music business. It's just a different business, you know, like we used to make videos to sell CDs, you know, now you just try and get people to stream music. So it's just a little, not that it doesn't exist. It's just a different, you know, formula. But videos are really important, and you could only really see them on MTV or VH1 or BET or CMT or what, you know. You couldn't just go to YouTube and click on a video. So, you know, it wasn't that long ago, but it was long enough. So I did like every 50 Cent video up through like Curtis and all the G Unit stuff and the solo stuff, the Yayo's and the Lloyd Banks and the Young Bucks. And I did Busta Rhymes, you know, did a bunch of Busta Rhymes video once he signed to Interscope, and I did a game video. We did a bunch of game videos. One was with Kanye, and you know, like we did, you know, stuff with 50.
Game is so talented. I'll tell you, if you guys out there, if you haven't listened to Game, you need to get on that and listen to it. Game is a super talented. Andrew's asking if you ever worked with Dr. Dre.
I did, not as Dr. Dre solo, but like Dr. Dre. Well, in this video, like there's a Dr. Dre. If you go back and watch the Ask Like That video, we have a Dr. Dre doll. And my whole contribution to that video was like the Dr. Dre doll only says hell yeah. Hell yeah. Dre was like, that's fucking stupid, man. I'm like, I don't know. It just seemed funny at the time. But we did Without Me. Like I remember he was the label guy, right? It was Eminem was signed to Shady, Aftermath, and obviously Interscope. So when we were doing the Without Me video, I had to pitch the idea that we had, you know, wanted to do to Dr. Dre because he was going to be in the video. So I remember going to the studio and kind of talking about, you know, we're going to use M and Dre as Batman and Robin. And he was like, I ain't fucking dressing up in Batman, you know. I'm like, no. Like, you're Dr. Dre. You don't have to do anything but be Dr. Dre, you know. Eminem's going to wear stupid stuff. Like, he's going to be Robin, you know. So he was cool with that. So I did that. I did the video with Snoop Dogg for The Wash with Dr. Dre.
Wow.
And
Snoop Dogg's wine's the shit.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, Dre wasn't, you know, like has not made a record in a long time. I remember right near the end of when I was leaving Interscope, this is right as the internet was kind of happening, you know, really starting to take hold, and downloading was decimating the music industry. But I was talking to Dre about like, why don't you create like an Easter egg kind of, you know, hunt online for the for the Detox record.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, I don't know if I'm ever going to release it. I'm like, even better, like a perpetual MacGuffin online where like every once in a while you drop a beat and someone finds it somewhere and puts it up and they have a thing. And, you know, and like, I just thought that would be a cool idea. Like as an artist, like even if you never put the record out, just like as somebody like that, like he has such specific sounding beats.
Yes.
That if somebody heard a 12, they could take it. And even nowadays they can make their own song with it. And, you know, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much know a Dre beat the minute you hear it.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right about
Dr.
that.
Dre, there it is. You know,
Yep.
That hi-hat and that's just a tight, beautiful sound. He's such a master of sonic, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about non-hip hop artists?
Let's see, non-hip hop artists. I've done Queens of the Stone Age. I did a lot of Soundgarden. I did 5 or 6 Soundgarden videos. I did a couple of Audio Slave and a couple of Chris Cornell solo. I did a bunch of Marilyn Manson before he got canned, you know, like bunch of Manson, starting with the Nobodies all the way through the one with Evan Rachel Wood. I did, and then like some pop stuff, Enrique Iglesias, Vanessa Carlton.
Very cool.
Yeah. Hives. I worked with the Hives a bunch.
All right, I got to ask real quick. Did you do the Marilyn Manson one from that movie? What was that movie that Scotty Doesn't Know? That song was on the same movie, but he did like Tainted Love. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Marilyn
I
Manson
did Personal Jesus was the cover I did with him.
Ooh,
that was right before I worked with him. Was Tainted Love.
Yeah.
Well, here's my question with the you said you did Soundgarden. Did you work on the Black Hole Sun video?
No, I did Pretty Noose, Burden in My Hand, and Blow Up the Outside World.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, the Black Hole Sun seemed to put them on the map because that they played that all over MTV. But the problem was, I mean, being an MTV child that was constantly watching at the time and being a DJ, there were inconsistencies in the video. It seemed like they got more money so that they got a better editor to add more effects to that video. Am I wrong? Or
I think so. No, it was.
If you ever watch, I mean, now if you ever watch it, there's 2 versions of that video. One where the faces actually do stretch, and one where they don't stretch.
Really?
That's one of the inconsistencies I found in it.
Interesting.
But there are a couple other things that it's almost like, you know, they made some money off that video and it became more famous. So the newer version that they played had way more effects in it that were trippier. So I don't know. I always wanted to ask that. So I'm sorry, Gabe. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh no, was Dave Grohl part of Queens of the Stone Age?
One video. No one knows. No one knows. And if you go watch the video, with Dave Grohl, like the performance part, we shot in the UK on a green screen. So Dave Grohl's in the band playing drums, which is, I think, one of the only times you've seen Dave Grohl play drums since Nirvana. He's in the Queens of the. But then the concept part of the video is without Dave. He had to get back to the Foo Fighters, so it's just the other 3 guys, Josh and the other 2 guys.
There'll be a Bonnaroo July 3rd if you guys want to go.
Queens of the Stone Age or
Foo Fighters. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Right on. So you brought up David Byrne. You know, he has this entire house that's like built like an instrument. I mean, so specifically, so with you do like bongos, and what other instruments do you do?
Ooh.
I'm a percussionist. I'm a drummer, you know, that's what I play, you know. So bongos are my natural thing. I just try to make it for me when what I found out certainly at the beginning of the pandemic, and what I've been doing is always like everyone plays DJ, everyone's the DJ, and I think that's great. I have no problem with that. But I was like, what can I do to make it a little different? And I was like, I can play along with bongos, you know. And most music, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even hip hop, like a good bongo beat is just there, you know. So you can play bongos. It's funny, I went to one gig and I was like, make sure you have bongos, and they brought congas. I don't know if you know the difference, but bongos are small and congas are, you know, massive. I'm like, man, like the guy's like, what's the difference? I'm like, the size. Like, I can't, how am I going to navigate this around the DJ booth? You know, like bongos are this big, you know, like I could sit in the thing in front of you and you can play them, you know. It's just funny, but I just think it's a cooler thing, and it gives a sense of a real specialness, you know, and certainly in LA, it becomes a thing of like, cool, this is live music. Is it live music? And then if there are people in the crowd who can play shakers or percussion or even a cowbell, you can get a vibe going with people and they kind of get them involved, you know. It's hard to do that in Los Angeles. There's very much a too cool for school, but once you get instruments going and people can play, they tend to love to do that, you know. Kind of breaks the wall down a little bit.
So do you mic them up and connect to like a board?
I do with the bongos. I just I put it into the board like on really low so that you could just hear it and feel it because they're pretty loud by the DJ booth. But if you put them in with really low underneath, you can feel it in the speaker, but they're not overcoming the song. So you're not, if someone loves the song, they're not like, geez, I can't hear the song because these bongos are bland, So I just as like a vibe underneath it,
Yeah.
So your weekly show, who does your visuals for you?
My roommate, we put them together. I started off on Instagram Live. He's like, we got to do better than that, And so we just kind of put some iPhones up and sold some video from every week from what we think is cool. And I give him kind of a breakdown of the stuff I'm going to play. And then we just build these cool little things in Ecamm Live.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really smart.
That's a
it's really
great
easy.
product.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It really is. It's super easy to use,
Yep.
Hell yeah. So what's your favorite Ramones album?
Ooh.
I think the first album, for me, just it never got any better, Beat on the Brat, Blitzkrieg Bop, Judy is a book, like it just had that thing.
Yeah.
But
they're
Road
hungry.
to Ruin, right? That was a good one. It was a good one. I never felt they made great albums as a thing. They always had great songs,
Yeah.
Dave, what do you think?
We were talking in the green room before we started the show, and I'm super fascinated about cryptocurrency, NFTs. These were some of the things that we were talking about in the green room. And, Randy, just talk a little bit about what you were telling us there, and let's kind of expand on that because it's so interesting to me.
Yeah, well, so I think it's such a what's the right word? It's enigmatic. An NFT? That's ridiculous. That's stupid. And in today's world, it seems absurd that someone would spend whatever $11 million for a digital nothing that doesn't really exist other than one piece of code on a blockchain of a currency. It really is an abstract thing. But when you look at it, when you take a step back and you look at the world, like certainly where it's going and the people who are going to be populating it, the kids now that are, let's say, 6 to 16 and maybe like the even 18 to 20 some year olds who play in the games, Fortnite and Roblox and all the games that people play, how important they're just the stuff that they do in those games are. But like if you play Fortnite, anyone can get to a certain point and buy a dance. Imagine if you're somebody where you have the only one of one in your digital wallet. So that's kind of what an NFT is right now. Like right now, it's pieces of digital art or collectible things, or like, LeBron James's first tweet, or like a slam dunk that he put together as a thing. So it seems kind of silly. Like, why would anyone want to have LeBron's first tweet? But in 2031, when everyone's digital wallet is something that people look at, if you have LeBron's first tweet, you're kind of like, oh, cool. Like, look at you. You got that cool. How did you get that? So there's a real sense of, when you sell it, however, whatever the ownership is at the beginning of it. So if you owned 23% of that NFT when you bought it, you own that 23% forever. So every time it gets sold, if you bought it for $100 and it sells for $1,000, you get 23% of that $1,000. If that person sells it for $1 million, you get 23% of that $1 million. Like that, your ownership of that NFT is in perpetuity. So
that's crazy.
I know. Yeah. And I think you're going to see like every concert, every sporting event, every festival, every rock show, every pop show, everything's going to be an NFT. It's going to be an easy, secure way for you to have a ticket. And will that ticket be valuable? Most tickets aren't. But if you were at the basketball game where Zion Williamson scored 100 points or something, then okay, well, you have an NFT for that game. You could possibly sell your ticket to someone that wants to keep that, so there's all these applications that happen. And I realize it's kind of obscure. And like I have people that are cryptocurrency, it's a scam. And I'm like, it really isn't a scam in the sense of if you had £100 note in your pocket and you walked into the local Starbucks and we're like, here you go, I'll pay with this. And they're going to look at you like, what? That's ridiculous. Like, so the value of cryptocurrency is only based on what people accept it, right? Like, it's not that £100 note doesn't have any value. It just doesn't have any value at a Starbucks in Philadelphia. You have to go to a currency thing, change it to US dollars, get your thing back, and then go back to that thing. So, just realize it's like, it is complicated and there are scams and there's a thing, but it's not like, And by the way, you guys can make artwork for your shows. Every show you do can be an NFT, and you can sell it. And even if it only sells for 25 cents, if you do that show and it's a cool thing, and Allen Iverson gets on the mic that night, it's like, oh, I was there. You know, people can claim to be there or whatever. It's like a ticket to Woodstock, you know.
What do those letters stand for, NFT?
Non-fungible token.
Non-functionable token. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Somebody
so it's basically, it's like, right now it exists only in the Ethereum blockchain, which is one type of cryptocurrency. Okay. But there's going to be other types of NFTs that exist in different blockchains as well. But the beauty of it is it's one of one, and it will only be one of one.
Okay. All right.
So you can make 30 different NFTs. They're all unique, different NFTs.
Now, here's my next question for you. I've heard of mining for Bitcoins.
Different. It's a totally different thing, right?
Yeah. Or mining. So I can't mine for an NFT then. That's my question.
No. NFTs are created specifically, and they're for sale. And you have to go to a marketplace. You have to have like a MetaMask or a digital wallet. You have to have currency in that thing, and then you bid on them. Like some of them you can buy. There's a whole series of 10,000 characters in this CryptoPunk things that they've done for like a series, right? But there's only like 89 of certain things, so those things go for more money.
I get it. Yeah,
you can probably get a CryptoPunk for $70 right now, but there's only 89 of the gorilla CryptoPunks, so those things are going for $14,000-$15,000.
But that's why you said like each banner that we do is unique. Because it's unique, then we can have it as an NFT. Is what you're saying, correct? Right.
So let's say you do a show and you make one NFT, but whoever buys it buys it. Right? They buy it. That's it. You only sell one,
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, I got you.
No, Bitcoin, the reason Bitcoins are like a much harder thing to deal with and understand, it's more like gold. They created Bitcoin on a gold thing where there's a finite amount of Bitcoins that exist, and that's their value. So once all the Bitcoins are mined and they're gone, there are no more Bitcoins. They're when
you said they, who are they? Who created them?
A guy from China created a concept of a currency and the idea that there would be these and it takes a tremendous amount of computer power to find them and put them together. And you have to understand coding, and it's not an easy thing to do, but a lot of them are gone. But once they're gone, then Bitcoin becomes this thing where like all the coins are gone. So if you have a coin, well, you've bought a piece of a coin because people are selling them. That's why I know it seems crazy now, but like, I do think like Bitcoins, because there's a finite amount of them, will be worth, because there's only, let's say, 10 million of them. They could be worth up to $500,000 each,
Yeah.
Okay.
In 10, 20 years,
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Greg, Nick, who hosts the other podcast with me, he has 3 Bitcoin, and he and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, man, just keep it.
Hold on to them.
Just keep them.
If you're looking for a short-term investment, digital currency is not the way to go.
Three Bitcoin. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If in today's market right now, one Bitcoin's like $34,000.
There you go. It's $100,000 today.
He's got $100,000 in Bitcoin, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and you'd probably lose your mind. I'll just tell you what he paid for them: $30 a piece when he got them.
There you go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But imagine when they go to $250,000. All of a sudden, he's got $750,000 worth of Bitcoin.
Now, he can't go to his local ATM or local bank and cash them out, can he?
A lot of supermarkets have Bitcoin ATMs.
Right. If you have one Bitcoin, they will take money. They don't take Bitcoin as a thing, but you can go to certain Bitcoin ATMs and take out a percentage of whatever you have.
I did see
gas
recently.
stations.
And just recently an ATM that said, it had the label on there where that you can take money out. So that's interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
Our guy from your boy Rob Schwartz from WhoMag, he just recently put out a NFT of some like hip hop cards.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he comes from the finance world initially, so he's all about that shit.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and and the thing is, like, I always tell people, like, don't worry about if no one buys them, or they're worth nothing today until they're worth something today. It's like all of a sudden things turn around. Like the guy who went on TikTok with on a skateboard with some ocean spray playing Fleetwood Mac changed the world last summer.
Yes.
He didn't do it because he was like planning to get like a big deal and make a deal. He's just like, my car broke down, and here I am drinking a little cranberry juice and listening to my favorite song, and it changed the world. You know, you just don't know. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Gabe, I didn't mean to step on you earlier. Go ahead, buddy.
No, you're good. You're good. So you're in LA right now, right? You're
I
originally
am
from New York.
I'm from Detroit originally.
Oh, how about that?
Hey.
Yeah. Plenty of town out of Detroit.
I love the Motor City was a good place to grow up. I loved it. It was, you know, all different types of music and really different cultures. And I left in the mid 80s. So it was really still a rugged, cool, like downtown had all night things and all like, you know, speakeasies that you could get any kind of drug. And it was the first time I tried, you know, I did, you know, ecstasy when it was legal. Somebody was like, you got to try this. It's called designer drugs. I'm like, sure. Wait. I'm like, you know, listening to dance music into like Detroit techno, you know, like,
wow.
I tell them like, this is this is legal. Ah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So you're out west. How are they looking at now, like the coronavirus and openings? Is it like
we're literally, I heard what you said, like we're tomorrow's our day, right? So tomorrow it's been slowly getting there. Okay. Traffic's back, you know, which is the downside.
Gotta love the 405.
Yeah, right. I was on it today. I had to go to a meeting. I'm like, traffic. I love curses, but we're getting there. You know, the thing about LA, like, I don't know if you know it, but even during the pandemic, part of the problem with like we were like, I don't know if you know, like we were really high in LA County every month. It like kept going up and everything because a lot of kids and a lot of people like they know how to get around the rules. People were renting houses. There were a lot of parties. There was a lot of underground parties. I didn't do them because I just didn't feel comfortable being around people and I didn't want to get it. I never did. I got vaccinated. I'm cool to go. But a lot of LA was just kind of like underground. So the restaurants hurt and the mainstream clubs were hurting, but there was still the party was still going on. Now that it's, you know, like we're about to be officially no mask mandates, you know, it's about to be there. It's about to start happening and they're going to start having events. I think 4th of July we'll have fireworks again and there'll be parties and you know, like it's coming back to that sense and you can kind of feel what's happening with the festivals. Like it's starting, I don't know, end of July, right? I think Bonnaroo's happening and Lollapalooza and then September, October, November it's on, you know.
I think everything should be getting back to after what I saw this weekend in Philly. I mean, the places that I work at act like, you know, they're the opposite of social distancing. When you walk through the club, you're rubbing you know, at least 10, 20 people on your way. Excuse me, pardon me. And, you know,
back to the way it was.
Yeah. And it's packed, you know, making money hand over fist right now. And
people need to make money again. Like, you know, like, I think it's good. We all waited. Now it's like time for us to make some money.
Yep. Hey, you know, we got a little bit of time really quick. I want to ask you one of the little tips too, in the pre-show, interview thing that Gabe sent us talks about how Generation Z experiences music. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? That interests me.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it's such a different time from when, you know, I don't know how old you are, but for me, like I'm in my 50s, you know, like.
Well, what is Generation Z? Like
Generation Z is like, you know, just after millennials. So it's like TikTok, basically the way people experience music on TikTok. No one wants to listen to full songs anymore. It's no one even knows where songs came from. Like I hear music on things. I'm like, oh, well, he's just biting this. And like, you know, even my nephews and my, you know, they're like, well, I don't know what that is. I don't know who, you know, that artist is. I'm like, really? You never heard of Marvin Gaye? Like, nope, never heard of Marvin Gaye. You know, I'm like, okay. Yeah.
So I had a girl tell me the other day she'd never heard of the Beastie Boys.
There you go.
That's insane.
What?
Yeah.
I remember cracking open the back of the jewel case from one of the Radiohead albums, and it was like this entire like extra, you know, material and artwork, and I was like, damn, you know, kids miss that today.
100%.
Yeah.
And music is, while it's great that it's ubiquitous and it's everywhere, it's also nowhere, right? It's like, it does, like I have my vinyl. I love it so much. It's such a thing. And that's why I love spinning records on vinyl. And especially when you listen to it, it's definitely as like a wave file, when you like put vinyl on and make a wave out of it, you can hear the mix and the openness of it. You know, the MP3 and the wave that are digital, everything's compressed into the thing, you know, so it just sounds a little different to me. And then, you know, just the way that they've handled putting music on the digital streaming platforms. Like I like, you know, like there's a Bobby Goldsboro song called See the Funny Little Clown. And you can't find that on any digital, streaming platform done in the original mix. It's a re-recorded version from the early 80s because he wants to own the master of it because that's who gets paid. So, like Todd Rundgren re-recorded all his songs, and you just hear that all the time. I'm like, yeah, I like the original version. So I think Gen Z experiences, and I don't think they care. I care. Yeah. I care.
You're right.
But they don't.
Since you care, you probably have some of those 160 gram pressings.
Some of them.
You can hear the deeper grooves, you hear the nuances in the original.
Some of them I do. Back 20 years ago, you could get records at Amoeba for $1 and they were unbelievable quality. Like no one wanted it. In 2000, 2001, 2002, like they were giving that shit away because nobody wanted vinyl. So I bought so much for $1 each, like really good quality records.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, gentlemen, want to hit him with one last question? We've got about 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm really like you. I'm really intrigued at the stuff that came in early, the celebration of mediocrity. I know there's a story behind that.
I mean, don't you think? I feel like I was, and I have to be careful how I say this because I tend to come across as somebody who's like really judgmental. But on some levels, there is a judgment. But like I saw an artist recently on Saturday Night Live, Olivia Rodrigo, and it just was like, what? I don't understand what this is, like, how did this happen? And so I looked it up online and I realized that she was on a TV show on Disney. And so I was like, okay, that all makes sense to me. Like, I understand why she's got 10 million followers and who she is. And she's like, I look at the world today and I see people that can hold a tune, but can't sing, if that makes sense, Like and I think the American Idol of it all has created this sense of like, people like, oh, you've got to hear this. It's amazing. And I listen to it. I'm like, yeah, that's not amazing. I don't know if you could would you like me to play you some amazing music? Because I'm happy to play you amazing music. There are artists that were real unique singers that had everyone from the James Brown of it all and the Marvin Gayes to the Aretha Franklins to the Joni Mitchells of a unique Minnie Riperton, like the unique singing voice that an artist had, I don't think the Beatles were necessarily the best singers in the world, but they were singers. Like John Lennon had a voice that you knew was John Lennon's voice and it was unique. He could hold a tune and it was this unique thing. And I just see today, like, everyone can hold this tune, but no one sings that well. There are not that many great. James Blake is somebody who I listen to. I'm like, that guy has a voice and can sing. And it's like, what a great new artist, Yeah. So I just feel like there's a lot of celebrating mediocrity. I will say Justin Bieber has a great voice. I don't listen to a lot of Justin Bieber, but every time I hear him sing, I'm like, that guy can sing. Like that kid really has a voice. Like there's a singer with pitch and a unique sound to his vocal, and he's got a thing that makes him a singer, Lady Gaga, she's got a voice that you can hear. I just think that I see us celebrating a lot of mediocrity with people that are like, oh my God, it's amazing. You're like, yeah, that's not amazing. It's not really that amazing.
Some of them went to Juilliard versus some of the mediocrity out there. I mean, she's.
Did you go to Juilliard, Gabe?
No, Gaga did.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah.
So.
But I think she went to Juilliard for piano or whatever. So I'm just saying, like, when you hear her sing, you're like, yeah, like that's why she can go on tour with Tony Bennett. She's like, no problem. I got you, boo. Like, we'll go sing together. Like one of the greatest singers of that, that era. She's like, I'll sing Torch songs with you. No problem. Because she can do it,
Do you think part of it could be, and I'm asking all of you guys, this is just a thought I was having when we were talking about it. Do you think it could be because of the like here today, gone tomorrow, instant gratification, the society, the amount of information that's available? Do you think it's a situation where the industry is like, we got to keep pumping people with this because we know they're only going to have a shelf life that's not what it used to be, and so at some point you run out of talent realistically, or you could.
I mean, for me, I think there's a part of it that's that. I just think that it's like the bar to get in now is so low. It used to be like to make a record was like certainly in the 70s and 80s, it was heavy lifting. It costed money. You had to get into a real studio. Right. Yeah. Now anyone with a fucking phone, you can do it. You can come make a record on your phone.
You have you have a YouTube account. You can get BandLab and really make really quick beats.
There you go.
What was the one song that came out? I think they did it on an old Casio. Was it Because I Got High? Did they do that song?
Oh, really? I love that song.
But it was done on a tiny little Casio.
Yeah.
There was, or wait, Da Da Da. That was the song the Volkswagen commercial used it. That was on one of those cheesy little $100.
But even then, like back then, like there was this thing, but you still had to learn how to do it. Now, like even like I said, like you don't have to spend any money. They're free apps. You can.
Oh yeah, right.
GarageBand comes on your Apple. It's got built-in things. You can do a thing and record on the mic on your thing and anyone, you know.
There back even before GarageBand, there was what they called, like, for the Windows platforms, you had EJ, hip hop EJ, dance EJ, and all that.
Yeah.
Acid Sony had Acid Music, which is still out and still doing it, which literally teaches you musical linear editing. MTV had MTV's Music Generator that was on the PlayStation platform for a while. You could literally take those same clips, like you were learning how to linear edit music, but do it on your PlayStation. Not even, you know, it was a game.
So I think it's that the bar. So, and then, you know, like taste it's fine. Like I listen to something, I don't like it, but like, you know, that Lil Nas X song, Old Town Road, like it wasn't, that song's not for me, but I got why people liked it. It was just like, you know, it's like an algorithm. It was like 17% hip hop, 32% country, 6%. You know, I'm like, wow, there you go.
Very formulated.
Like, and then people are like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, okay, there you go. You know, like he can't sing, he can't really write, but he's like did it right, and he's brilliant at marketing. So it's like biggest song ever. You know, I'm like okay,
very brilliant at marketing.
Yeah.
Then you have talent from Detroit like Jack White.
Yeah, I mean, very few people like Jack White in the world, you know.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, like, Jack White's able to carve his own niche out. He has Third Man Records, so he makes his own vinyl. He does his thing. He can headline a festival. He can be in the Raconteurs. He can put the White Stripes together. Like, he's a real Renaissance guy. Like, you know, there are very few Jack Whites ever. You know,
yeah, I'm like, I play the shit out of the Dead Weather albums. Like
Dead Weather, right? Yep.
They sound great. They sound great. But he's like, that's a high bar. Like he's making a record, right? He's crawling over glass to get that sound right and doing it. And, you know, like you can respect a guy like that. And I have respect for people who make it however they make it. I'm not even saying that I'm just saying, I just think it's easier to do and kids there's not that sense of, and I don't think they're listening to that much radio anymore. So there isn't really a sense of the backstory and the what happened before. That's some of the things that with the curation, like I hope this decade is a little bit more like kids going back and learning about music from back in the day. Like this song is great. What is this? You know, that was one of the things I loved about Guardians of the Galaxy. I was like, when the first song kicked in, I'm like, are they going to play like all old 70s pop music in this movie? It was like, and they did. I'm like, thank you. Like, thank you.
Right.
You know?
Look,
that was cool.
And Dave, to answer your question, I think, you know, our children and our children's children are being fed this information so fast.
Yeah.
Look, my 13-year-old daughter can sit there and not only have a computer in front of her that's a gaming computer, but right next to it, there's a laptop or the Chromebook she got from school. She also has a tablet. She also has a phone. And she got Alexa playing music in the background, and she's talking to that thing.
There you go.
You know what, though? I was just listening to it, just the CD itself of Natty Dread from Bob Marley when I was a kid. And I got into it. And I don't think I'd be able to appreciate it as much if I had like all these other moving parts at the same time. Yeah. So
definitely not Natty Dread. Like that's
you know what I mean?
Sophisticated reggae. Yeah.
Well, the point being is these kids have so much stimuli.
Yeah.
All of this is going on at once. That's where the ADD kicks in.
Yeah.
Everybody has the ADHD or the attention deficit disorder or the hyperactivity disorder. That's why a TikTok and do your research. Why do you think a TikTok video only lasts 30 seconds?
But that's how they get it. You know what I mean? And so, and it just, if it cuts through enough, all of a sudden they love it. And it's amazing. It's the best. Oh, I love that song. It's my favorite song. Like, okay.
Instagram kind of had the same thing. They only let you go so far, and then you can go to Instagram. You know, it was almost
keep
like
watching.
a teaser.
You have to keep watching.
It's a teaser type of thing. Yeah. And look, it's going to evolve like the way the internet evolved. It's all one big advertising thing. I mean, watch The Social Dilemma, and you'll know what I mean.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, it's your MySpace, you know, dissolved because it became one big ad. And pretty soon I can almost guarantee until the next best thing comes out, people will still play on Facebook unless they limit it becoming one big ad.
Yeah.
Same thing, Facebook, or not Facebook, Instagram. It's going to be one big ad. And TikTok, one big. I don't want to follow General Mills on all of these different platforms. Like us, General Mills. I'm sitting there reading my Cheerios in the morning. Follow us and like us on Facebook. Really?
Yeah, fuck.
So speaking of mediocrity and craziness and things
that's
like
what
that.
I mean. It's like, you take it. It's not the end of the world, but it's something like this.
I think
and you guys appreciate it. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I'm like, I'm sure
music will go through some type of evolution. That's it. I believe it'll change it. I don't know whether for the better, but it's going to change it. And what the records behind you are going to turn into the reel to reels that are above you, where the Jason mask is. Right
I do think cassettes are going to make a comeback. I think there's going to be a generation of kids that think it's cool. It's like okay, cassettes. Bring the Walkman back. Just because it's so uncool. You can only have it on one little thing. I'm sure that'll be a thing. I'm sure that'll have. And I do believe that rock is going to have a real thing. It's going to be a thing in the next 3 to 5 years. I think you're going to see bands. You're going to see that. I think kids are playing again, and it's a little bit I do think there's a Gen Z or whatever is after Gen Z. Is I think their parents are listening to the same music they are. And at some point you're like, you know what? I don't want my mom to listen. I don't want to listen to Drake with my mom anymore. I don't want to listen to Lil Uzi Vert anymore. I want a fucking AC/DC record,
Yeah.
I just want to fucking blow shit. I want the speakers loud. I want her to be turn it down, that's what I think,
All right.
I love that. that.
Randy, where do you want to go with your creativity in the next 10 years?
That's the one thing I said, I really want to be an IP. I really feel like, artists and they're starting to understand it. That's what the NFT part of it is. And that whole thing is as an artist, you make a song or a record or anything and you put it out on the digital streaming platforms. But to me, I want to be an IP. I want Randy Bongo to be this curation IP that people go to. And even if it becomes a limited thing where you have to earn your way up to get to the free playlists or something like that.
When you say IP, explain that.
Intellectual property.
Okay, just making sure.
That in my perfect world, rather than being just an artist of whatever, I want to be this multi-layered entity that can sell merchandise, that can help with your curation, maybe even some, life stuff, I want to say self-help because self-help is an inherent an oxymoron, because if it's self-help, then you should just be helping yourself. You shouldn't be going to other people to get self-help. It's called self-help. Help yourself then, but just kind of an intellectual property is what I'm trying to create.
Like an entertainment consultant with all your experience that's been puzzled together. That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm doing it for some people, I'm kind of reconnecting with some of my old clients and people that I did, and they look at me now and they're like, "Oh, Randy, yeah, he was the one that had that idea," So, just trying to monetize it, just trying to figure it all out.
All right, cool,
Very cool.
Dave,
I gotta be honest with you, I'm fascinated, man. Really cool stuff.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. No, and I want to thank you, Randy. Thank you for hanging out.
Thank you guys, Dave, Greg, Dave. Thanks, Dave, for reaching out. I don't check Facebook Messenger often, but that one time I did, I saw you and I was like, I'll be your friend. Of course I'll come on. Of course, I'd love to be with you guys. I'm happy to come back anytime.
And thank you to Gabe. Thank you, Gabe, for the great job that you're doing. By the way, look, Dave and I were discussing in the meeting a couple weeks ago when you weren't here. We're giving you a raise, Gabe. All right, we're doubling your pay.
It's just I'm working with biological reactors. I'm selling real estate, and I'm doing this entertainment thing now. It's just I don't have time to even it's surf season right now. I don't have time to paddle out. You know what I mean?
Bummer.
This is why we decided to double your salary, man, so we can hopefully help with that. So
There you go.
we have to really we got to hook you up, brother. All right.
Right on.
Actually, I always get questions from young people, and they talk about getting an agent in Hollywood, and I'm like, agents work on 10%. How much is 10% of zero? You know?
Yeah.
So,
You're already in the hole there.
Yeah. Like they work on 10%. How much money you make them right now? Zero. Okay. So they're getting 10% of zero. Do you think they're going to focus on you? Like go make money, go do something, and then they'll help you make more money, but they work on 10%. Like they don't get paid unless they make money. You know? So,
Yeah.
So I feel like, Gabe, you're getting 10% of zero.
hell yeah. So when
He's actually getting 100% of zero right now.
100% of zero. There you go.
Yeah, big time, man.
You're fucking Colonel Tom Parker in that shit.
We were even willing to give him the other 90%.
Yeah.
Bring it on. Randy, when's your next show?
July 1st, I'm going to do something for the 4th of July weekend. I'm taking a couple weeks off just because I did 60 weeks in a row and it was like, so I'm doing, I'm going to have we're coming back on July 1st. But I have built up enough to where I'm working on a couple just quick things. I'm working on, and I don't know if you guys do this or not, but OnlyFans, I know it's a sex thing, but they're really trying to get into music. So they're letting you get a page for free now if you want, and you can put your stuff on there and then charge people. They are really trying to expand out more than sex, but people are there for sex. But if they're there, then they make them find cool music.
How about if I play sexy music?
You can play sexy music. Why not?
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do like the Weekend Starts Here radio station. I'm just working on getting all that together. So it's like 24 hours, 7 days a week, just replaying all the mixes I've done. I've finally built up to where I have 7 full days of 24 hours a day. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's some serious mixes there.
I know. 3 hours at a 3 hours at a time. It's not for the timid.
Yep.
But you can go to RandyBongo.com. You can check out the mixes and see the Twitch page and merchandise and all that stuff, you know.
So Randy, do you prefer using the phase or are you using like Ortofons, or what are you using for vinyl?
What do I use? I use the Ortofon, the green ones with the green thing. I don't scratch. I'm really sensitive about that, and I'm not very good at it. So I don't try to do something that I'm not good at. I have mad respect for like a real turntablist who understands the scratching and the way it does. So I don't do that. So I use the Ortofons. They're really durable and they sound really good. I use the 212. I have Technique 1200s.
Sure.
I bought them in 2000 and they work like a charm. And I run it through. Because I also do electronic music, like old school house and stuff. So I can use CDJs. So I have an old CDJ-X that I use. It's just like my mixer.
Mm-hmm.
But it records. It records fantastic. It records a real high quality wave in the USB. So
nice.
Right on.
Yeah, super easy.
Very cool.
Yep.
Hey, before I go, I want to put in a selfish plug here. What is it? And Gabe, since you're in the Philadelphia area, we're doing Lady B's birthday party. Are you familiar with Lady B? It's her.
No.
It's it's 40th. Let's just say 40th anniversary, shall we say?
Cool.
Lady B's 40th anniversary. It's at the Dell Music Center. It's the one on the on the east side or Kelly Drive. But check it out: Sugar Hill Gang, Cool Mo D, EPMD, Big Daddy Kane.
What?
Nice and Smooth, Roxanne Shante, and Tough Crew. So
all playing live.
Yeah, we're doing that.
When is this?
Sunday. Hold on, I got the. We
Come on, you should have led with that. You buried the lead, my friend.
I know, absolutely you did.
We could have talked about that the whole night.
I'm on my laptop over here trying to book a flight. Come on, give me the info.
Sunday, August 15th. Now, hold on. Yo, you do that. I'll get you backstage. All right, you come with me because it's Too Tough. I'm representing Too Tough. I'm his road manager.
Nice.
Okay.
This is the gig he's bringing me in on, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's at the it's Sunday, August 15th. The Dell Music Center, 2400 Strawberry Mansion Drive, in Philly. Yeah,
wow,
7 p.m. start. And hold on, I'll go back to the
EPMD.
It's going to be a really cool show.
So I almost called you Randy. Sorry about that, Greg. I'm so freaking out right now because of all of these artists you just named.
Yeah, Big Daddy King.
I seriously am available that weekend.
Big Daddy King's how you like me now, right?
Okay.
Like, come on.
Pimpin' ain't easy.
Pimpin' ain't easy.
Kid and Play, Roxanne Shante, Nice and Smooth, Tough Crew, and Mike Stroh. I don't know who Mike Stroh is. MICSTRO.
I don't either.
All right, I'm seriously thinking about coming up there. I'm free.
That is
free.
I'm saying I'm
Whoever
available
put that
to come
show
over
together. That's
You could stay at my house. Oh, it's actually, hold on. Big Block Entertainment is
Great.
the
did a good job, man.
Two Ballot Plaza in Philly. So
That's awesome.
We're doing
that's
4th
the
of
first
July.
big show that's happening here, and I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, there's nothing that's been going on unless it's been in the clubs or your speakeasy. So,
Right.
but yeah, you want to come up? Let me know, boys. We'll get you. We'll get you doing it.
Gabe's like, just let me talk for a second, man.
Yeah. We're, by the way, we're doing Flow Rider and BB Rex at 4th of July at the Man Music Center. We're doing the video wall. So
nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you guys are more than welcome to come down if you want.
Dude, nice.
That's a good one.
I don't know if I can make both of those, but I seriously would like to consider coming up for the hip hop show.
I will be taking crazy mad. I might bring the 360 camera out for that one because I haven't seen much 360 footage. If I do anything, I'll put the DSLR down and take that 360 camera out with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, that thing went viral with the DJ Expo a couple years ago. It was like 30,000 hits. I think something like that might make it go viral if I'm able to walk around stage or backstage with it.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, let's talk more about that offline for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. So I wanted to end with that. I know we got to cut these things short, but I also too wanted to thank you again, Randy.
Thank you guys.
Really thank you for educating us too.
Yes.
Because when you were talking NFT and crypto, I was a little bit. I'm like, oh, Bitcoin, and you kind of set me straight. Now I get it.
Good.
I get what a non-functional token is, and I want to go. I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into that.
And by the way, you can create them really easily for like $5. You don't need to know how to code or do anything. There's a thing called Mintable, mintable.com. Go check it out. And there's an add-on you need to get a digital wallet, which you can get for free. There's a thing called MetaMask. It's an add-on for Chrome or Firefox or I think Safari. I'm not sure, but
MetaMask.
Sure. Yeah, MetaMask. They'll you sign up for free. You can get a digital wallet. Like once you want to buy things, you'll have to put money in. But just to look at what they are and have them as like holding things, like it's like a Facebook page or something, you can get them for free. You know. And then, like I said, if you want to make NFTs, go to Mintable, and then it costs $5, I think, to make an NFT and see what it is. Put it up for sale. Like I said, if nothing happens, nothing happens. But you have it, and then you're learning the process. You know.
Oh wow, cool. All right.
So one more thing. So how can people who want to acquire your services get in touch with you?
Oh, good.
RandyBongo.com. Just go to RandyBongo.com,
nice.
And that's the best way to get in touch with me.
Fantastic.
Nice and easy. All right, cool.
Yep.
Anything else, boys and girls?
I'm good on my end. I'm excited. It's good stuff.
Cool,
Gabe,
man.
Great to see you, Gabe. Dave, great to see you. Randy, thank you again.
You're so welcome. Thank you guys for having me.
Send us out, Dave.
All right, you guys. Thank you as always for tuning into the In the Queue podcast. We hope you enjoyed our guest tonight, Randy Bongo, talking about all kinds of fun things, music, NFTs, and the puppets from the Eminem video. So that was a lot of cool. Thank you. Thank you again, Randy, for joining us this week. We'll see everybody next week on In the Queue podcast. Y'all have a great night.